Get up! I was enjoying a peaceful nap until that point. But my full bladder decided to wake me up and alert me to empty it. I opened my eyes. It was evening. I was alone in my bedroom, and the washroom was right there in front of me, a couple of steps away from the bed. I could also hear my family members discussing something in the living room. I pushed my legs off the bed. I stood up while leaning on my left side. And as I tried to take my first step towards the washroom, bam! I fell hard on the ground. My family rushed to my bedroom as soon as they heard the thud. Unfortunately, by the time they arrived, the floodgates to my bladder had already opened. Looking back on that moment now, it probably looked like some crime scene of someone lying on the floor surrounded by some liquid. Only instead of blood, there was urine. But this was also the moment when I actually became conscious of the state I was in. I was fully paralyzed on the right dominant side of my body. Right-sided hemiplegia with grade 0 power, as doctors call it. The cause? A traumatic brain injury due to a near-fatal road accident. This was 4 years ago. While on our way to the Gangotri base camp with a trekking group, our bus crashed down a deep gorge, resulting in heavy bleeding inside my brain, leaving me in a coma for almost 2 weeks on ventilatory life support, with doctors unable to say whether I would live the next day or not. When I finally did come out of the coma, my right side was completely paralyzed. And what do I mean by paralyzed? Not being able to walk? I couldn't even sit up straight on my own, or even lift my leg or my arm. Standing, walking, or simply picking up an object became goals of a distant future. The brain injury had also left me with a damaged third nerve, which meant that I saw 2 of everything. 2 doctors, 2 rooms, 2 physiotherapists. And to top it all off were my 6 broken front teeth that still give me the dashing look of a pirate, minus the treasure. It was unclear how long it would take me to recover, and if I would ever fully recover. My recovery period was filled by daily physiotherapy, occupational therapy, and home protocol sessions, which went on from 7 in the morning till 9 at the night. This also meant that I had to take a gap year from school, watch my friends and batchmates move forward. Eventually, all of this led me to beg the question, why me? What had I done to deserve this? My 14-year-old brain at the time, that chubby thing you see there, was trying to find an answer to main hi kyun? Why me? It was frustrating to see myself struggling to do the simplest of actions, which I saw others do subconsciously on autopilot, which I could have done effortlessly in the past, like eating food or combing my hair. Each step I took became a conscious one on whether I was doing it right or not. Despite my rigorous physio and OT sessions, OT schedule, I saw little to no apparent progress in my recovery. Seeing photos and videos of my past self angered and saddened me at the same time. I was angry at my past self for choosing to go on that trip. I felt as if I was a prisoner inside my own body. I would never be able to live off independently. No amount of effort would ever change the situation I was in. I would never be able to do things I enjoyed as I used to before. Never be able to write again. Never be able to play squash again. Never be able to play the guitar like I used to. I saw no purpose in living at this point. Why did I even survive the accident? Nothing seemed to be in my control. And that, right there, was the root to my depressive state of mind. I was trying to control things that I had absolutely no power over and abandoning the one thing I did have power over. Turns out, there's a name for that. Control fallacy. The illusion of how much we can control our lives and surroundings. We are all victims of control fallacy. Sometimes our very own mind plays tricks on us. I like to think of it as a spectrum. Be honest with yourself for a second. On the one hand, have you ever caught yourself thinking that if I just plan carefully enough, work hard enough, nothing will go wrong? I'll just plan everything. And you may have even become anxious when a googly came your way. On the other end, that no matter what I do, how hard I try, some things are just never going to work out. Failing is inevitable. Our brain gravitates towards one or the other end of this spectrum to some degree, depending on the situation. Looking back, this illusion of control was actually harder to beat than the paralysis itself, the physical reality. I was trying to control the uncontrollable. I couldn't speed up time to make me recover faster, nor could I wind it back to prevent the accident from ever happening. It was true that I would face difficulty doing things I could do effortlessly before. Turns out, I never fully recovered. I never will. And that's the harsh reality which I cannot change. Asking questions like, why me? Which have no answers. The only thing that was and will remain in my control is my effort. And this is something which applies to everyone. Even in extreme situations where you seemingly have no control in what you do, where you go, or what you say, you still have a certain amount of control over how you approach the situation. Showing up daily and giving my best and some more in the PT/OT sessions, however mundane and repetitive they seemed, became my effort. The same mental shift also helped me move from focusing on the problem to how I could solve it. I couldn't control what happened to me or the problems I faced, but I could control what I did about them. One aspect of my rehab required me to restrict my normal arm, my good arm, sort of like how you see here, and this forces the paralyzed side to work. This is effective, but isolating. I couldn't go out, couldn't use both hands, couldn't live normally. And despite doing all of this, I also had no way of knowing whether my finger movements were improving or not, or how well I was doing them. Finger movements, by the way, are a crucial part of the recovery. Progress was invisible, and feedback was purely subjective. These problems also frustrated me a lot. But this time, they led me to question, why hasn't someone found solutions to them? What can be done to solve them? Why don't I be that someone? These questions were fortunately answerable and are what led me to develop the two innovations to solve them, not just for me, but for other patients too. One, a wearable device that forces the paralyzed patient to use the paralyzed limb during everyday tasks. And just as importantly, it's designed to look like everyday tech, so the patient can wear it in public without looking like some medical experiment. They can walk into a coffee shop with it on and not feel like the whole room is staring at them. That matters. The second is an AI app that uses a phone or laptop camera to track intricate finger movements right there on the device and give immediate numerical feedback on how well the movement was performed and what was lacking. Ultimately, it turns the frustrating, invisible, subjective feedback into objective, measurable progress. And here's the thing about control fallacies. They don't announce themselves. Something shifted when I could finally see it clearly. I stopped interrogating the past, stopped bargaining with the future on what outcomes may lay in store. My attention, all of it, narrowed to the present. On not to what I'd lost or what I might never regain, but to what the next session required of me. Remember that spectrum I talked about earlier? Absolute control on one end and helplessness on the other. Well, the middle ground there, the Goldilocks zone, that's where a balanced perspective actually lies. A thought on what you can and cannot control actually lives. A thought that is almost always more useful than a distorted one, whether the distortion flatters you or condemns you. Once you can name what exactly your mind is doing, it loses a surprising amount of its grip. I still can't play the guitar. I still write as fast as a 6-year-old. I still have a broken set of front teeth. But that illusion of control is gone. You can't control when you fall in life, or how hard you fall, or how much it will hurt. But you can control what happens after it. The effort you put in to get back up again, to keep moving forward. What comes after the fall is entirely yours to write. And yes, I don't fall while going to the washroom anymore. Thank you.